We're going to do something wonderful right now. All my life I've done something called spiritual empowerment. I simply talk to people spiritually. There's no Robert Rosenberg involved. It's just God and the person. I was with my friend Baba Bedi in India, and he would simply hold someone's hand. People come from all over the world, and he was very well known in those circles as a clairvoyant and a spiritual teacher and so forth. And I think he spent so many years in jail with his wife, for Frida Bedi, for supporting Gandhi. But he was simply so spiritual that people didn't realize it, because he just gave this away to people, and he made it, it's for them. You're out of the way entirely. So I'm going to do that with you, for you, from him, from them, for us, for God, to let you know who you are, and for the rest of your life, you will do this. And it will answer all questions. You'll be in touch with God. There's endless beatific presence. There are no words for it. The religions fall short. The belief systems fall short. Visions fall short of understanding God. However, you won't fall short because you're going to allow it to pass through you. It's not yours. It's to whoever you choose, whoever you see is worthy, if you understand those words. Because most people are not. They're lost, perhaps forever. But it's not something we ever think about. If you think about that, are they going to go to hell for? If you think about that 1 second, or why did God do this? If you question that for one moment, you've not stepped into the actual spiritual realm of eternity as yet. It's a place that just simply is. It's just simply wonderful. That's yours. You've felt this, you've known this in your heart and soul from birth, haven't you? And everything makes you prove yourself, doesn't it? Don't they? And anyone who isn't shining the same love your mother shone upon you from birth is delusional. They're making a mistake. They're lost. But you're not lost. You're centered. You're available to God and all the decent people in your life, aren't you? You've always been, haven't you? It's interesting being you, isn't it? The hard part is, we'll make an example. In India, they say that if a pickpocket sees a saint, he only sees his pockets. That's why I say you'll be looking for worthy presences. They're not even people anymore. They're not men or women or children or adults. Or you can do the same with my friend Susan does with kittens. You see the souls of your dear friends within them. It's deeper than the everyday, isn't it? Aren't you? There's nothing wrong with you. This world is a ball of confusion, no more, no less, to the spiritually gifted. All my friends, such as Baba Bedi, or so many friends I can mention in my life, and my family members who are mystical, who are just, they're aware of this higher presence. And you might never know that. They might have never used that word in their life. They're raising families, they're doing good, they're living, they're going through heart failure, they're helping a child, they're mentoring, they're advocating, they're believing and working and not blaming anyone, and they have the same tragedies. We all have the same tragedies in our life every day, don't we? And some of it comes with exquisite timing on the dark side, doesn't it? And yet at the same time, whenever you sit down to do this, there'll be 15-minute sessions, or as long as you want. If someone really needs fixing, you'll sit there for an hour. I got a buddy that works here in this gym, and greatest guy in the world, and I had to sit down for almost an hour a few times, just drilling the person with the fact that it's not them. It's the whole world. They never got a break. Their own family wasn't there for them. It was actually there in a cruel way. And so it's hard to get over all of this. My point is, I know I'm enlightened. Everyone around me knows that whatever that is, it might be in my atmosphere, or is. And I'm still treated like the same, like one of the guys, one of the people, or a friend, and I'm not even here. And I have to turn myself into something a little different, a little shade lighter, or darker, or more clear, or more erudite, for whoever, whatever it is. And that's outside of these sessions that you will provide the dear ones for the rest of your life. It will simply come from God as this is from me now. I'm not even thinking or feeling, it just is. It just happens always. You'll write beautiful poetry, you'll develop whatever it takes in your head, artistically, spiritually, psychologically. It's like fixing a garden. My friend Susan has this beautiful Japanese garden, I guess, out behind her home, and she goes out there and just little tiny thing moving these giant Japanese trees and so forth and so on. But just, you don't think of it, you go out there and you get a feel, this is this and that's that. And the more adept you are at anything, the easier it is, and the more perfect it looks in the end, and you're not worried about a detail. So I want you to not worry about a detail ever again. In just that one aspect of empowerment, you'll feel what I call the teachers, our friends of old. The holy ones. They'll be with you forever. And you'll have thoughts and thoughts about thoughts, and this is part of the empowerment, is your whole life will change continuously, your thoughts about experience. You'll be more and more humble, more and more adept at communicating with people, at listening to them, at presenting things. And the only time you really get to explode and be who you are and be truly happy is when you're doing these sessions, because that's what's in you all day to do, isn't it? And you rarely get a chance. But when you have this in hand, it's very powerful. They say telling the actual truth is like more dangerous than walking into an ammo depot with a lighted torch, because it is. But if you know that, and then more than that, you've tried this process of spiritual empowerment to others, and when you're doing it, you know that you are an instrument of the divine. And you're not lost in hell, you're not lost in space, you're not confused, you're not confined. You cannot be defined. And that's the idea of these different disparate thoughts you'll have. Because you're more and more humble, you're not going to hold on to anything. You might love two people, and if you're spiritual, you want to be responsible to each, and yet you can't decide. But the point is, as soon as you realize there is no world, you don't have to decide as far as a materialistic responsibility. It's a divine appreciation, apprehension. It's got nothing to do with you. You have nothing to do. You have nowhere to go. Nothing to be. You'll just give this gift. That's why you're here. There's no process, there's no thought. If you want to pray, pray. If you don't, don't. As soon as you do it, you have to know that you are an instrument of the holy ones, of the Holy One, of that which should not be named, or even thought. When I look at God, I don't even look at God. And the more spiritual you become, the more spiritual and humble God becomes. It's quite a wonderful person. And I know you can't contain it, and I can't contain it, but you are God. So you'll be able to give this godness away forever. And a part of us that's incarnate is like no more than a little, you see the little eyes above that little stick-like branch coming off the butterfly's head, and it's on the top of the eye. And that's all of you that's incarnate here, but the whole sky and the beauty of the butterfly and all the butterflies and the flowers of the field, they're all yours, they're all part of you. But this is such an almost inconspicuous, innocuous part of you that's here in the world. But because it's that much, it is of God, you'll do these empowerments, and you'll do these empowerments, and you'll do these empowerments, and the floodgates will open one day for you. This takes a couple years of confidence, of hard work, of watching the pickpockets come at you, and with one big last smile at the whole thing. You'll get it. It's called illumination. It's you. The illumination you had from the beginning. The illumination is a person. It's the person of God. It's the person of you. And you've done nothing wrong to not be illuminated. You are illuminated. But you gave that up to be here, and now you woke up in the middle of this, and the hardest thing in the world for a spiritual person to do is to admit that they are spiritual, because we're kind, we have deference, care, and consideration, right? We're aware of the worrisome factors of the world around us, and we're more conscientious about it than people would imagine, because we're subtle. We're not making a big fuss, even though we're the only ones improving anything. And you improve this simply by not existing within it, giving it up. You don't need or want. In a sense, you don't even care, because you're so complete. You are compassion. You don't need to do something. You don't envy anyone, or want or need, or desire. That's rare. That's an aspect of spirituality. That's why you have been chosen of all the world. You're one of His. You're sent. And hear the mission bells. They toll for you. Speak clearly, often, with great confidence for the person you're empowering. The problems are all caught in time. The people I've dealt with have had horrible difficulties. And the confidence that comes through with empowerment is it's from God, and this entire incarnation, or 20 of them, mean nothing. You're going to give the gift. You're going to stop time in, we'll call your client's life, your student's life, your friend's life, because you're going to give that friend more than you've ever gotten from the whole world. Ever, aren't you? Each time. And God will get bigger and bigger in you and through you, and all this madness will be done. And that's the way it will be. There is a God, you are God's instrument. The only difficult stream of thought here is the fact that God actually is God, but in being that means it's a presence so infinitely subtle and pure and kind and humble and human and decent and caring and respectful of you more than we could be respectful of God. So we don't get confused in any terms. When I work with people with psychological things, I call it fixed ideas. Certain people have fixed ideas about reality, and we can have no fixed ideas about one side or the other. We're a pure instrument. You're a pure vessel. And you're going to give God for the rest of your life. And even after you do it, though, you'll be happy and relieved and floating, and it'll be, you know, you haven't even begun. You take personal the fact that there's any kind of pain in the world, or trauma, or two sides of any issue. It gets very subtle. You'll work out all the aspects of human existence in weeks or months. You'll understand everything. And you'll find the appropriate wordage, but you won't get involved in the daily reporting of anything. You won't respond to it. You won't react to it. That's not your reason or your purpose. That's for the dark side. You represent the entirety, the endless expanse of that which the holy ones still call God. You're a holy vessel. You'll give this in whatever words, whatever comes to you from time to time, and the confidence you'll have in each of your people that come to you. And it can be in a public space. I've done it here and there in every kind of circumstance. And at the same time, in the beginning, you'll be attacked by different people and circumstances, and you'll know that's the dark side, and you'll be kind of happy about it, because it'll give itself up every time it confronts you. And don't react to it. Don't give it anything back. You don't have to clock it, you know. You don't have to do anything. Just know it and fall deeply within your stance. You don't have to respond. And if you do respond at that last moment, because they're making it necessary, you cannot miss. You're born to judge the world. So if in the end there's certain difficulties out of there that won't go away, certain fixed ideas, well, we'll make it go away. But the work is to daily lift, improve, heal, help. Consider the aged and the infirm. Be cautious and caring with everyone. Honor your father and mother. Thank you, Frida Beatty. It's Baba Beatty's darling wife. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Skolta.